Hello friends, see AML KYC guideline, anti-money laundering, know your customer guidelines. What do you mean by the money laundering? Money laundering is nothing but the process. It is a process where the origin of a funds generated from the criminal activity like drug trafficking, gun smuggling, corruption, right? It is concealed and these funds infused into the financial systems like banks, and they are supposed to appear as if originated from the legitimate source. So what is money laundering? Money laundering means the funds the criminals are generating from the criminal activity, they will put their money into the financial systems, means like a bank. So whatever dirty money they have generated, like money from the corruption, money from the criminal activity, put into the financial system, and once that money put into financial system and it will taken out from the banks or the financial system, so it will look like an legal money. That means very simple. What is, see, name it is indicating what is money laundering. What is laundry? Laundry means simply cleaning the clothes, right? So money laundering means simply you are cleaning the dirty money and showing it as an white money. So converting the black money into the white money, it is process is nothing but the money laundering. So in simple way, what is money laundering? Black money conversion into the white money. That process is called as the money laundering. Very simple. Okay. Now, how the banks are risky? See, bank will face the reputational risk, operational risk, legal and compliance risk, or the regulatory risk. That means, see, if bank is, that's why we have to very cautious, right? If bank got caught, any bank got caught into the criminal activity, money laundering, right? In that case, the reputation, operational, that means basically all kind of risk bank will face. Now, apart from that, the in India, we are having the AML KYC guideline given by the RBI. The AML KYC means anti-money laundering, know your customer. And also we are having PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Okay, now see in detail. What is money laundering? It is a process whereby origin of the fund generated from the criminal activity like drug trafficking, gun smuggling, corruption, what are, right? All are the criminal activity. So source of that fund basically hidden, that is concealed, so that after that the funds being infused into the financial system, appearing as if these are originated from the legitimate source. Okay, very simple. That we simply, and the black money put into the banks, so that once it out from the bank it becomes the white money. So that process is nothing but simply the money laundering. So money laundering activity expose the banks to different risk. The AML KYC guideline given by the RBI and the PML Act we are having, the PML Act was enacted in 2002. So they are used to stop the money laundering. Okay, now see in detail what are the stages of money laundering. So how basically money laundering functions? So you have to mug up that three stages, right? First is the placement, second is the layering, and third is the integration. Placement means what? Whatever criminal funds you are having, you means the dirty money the criminal is having, right? So that is being put into the banking system, that is called as the placement. So criminal activity, the funds from the criminal activity are introduced to the financial system, that is done through the deposit into the multiple bank account, right? So whatever they are having, they will put in different banks, right? So criminal funds are being put into different banks, that is called as the placement, putting it placement. Layering means what? See, once the fund is put into the banking system, then fund will pass through numerous financial transactions, so that it will be difficult to track it, right? So multiple layer of fund transfer they will create. That means fund will be transferred from one bank to another bank, one bank to another. That means multiple fund transfer will be occurring. That is called a layering. So multiple layers of transaction is created in such a way that source should be hidden. Next is the integration. Integration means simply whatever you are transferring all the funds, right? Next step is simply collecting the fund, laying in multiple account, and they are used in some legal business activity. Now, once integration means collecting all, so whatever funds you have transferred to multiple account, they will be collected and used to purchase some real estate luxury asset, showing it as a legal business activity, right? So very simple, you have to mug up. For exam point of view, there are three stages: placement, layering, and the integration. Placement means putting the fund, layering means multiple transaction, integration means collecting all in a source at one point to purchase some assets or show it as a legal business activity. Okay, now what are the stages? I repeat, the placement means introduction of the illegal fund into the financial system. Layering means numerous multiple transactions are being created. That is multiple layer of fund transfers is being created. And integration means simply collecting that fund at a one point and use it for the some legal business activity, right? So we are having placement means putting illegal or the black money into the financial system. Layering multiple transactions, complex transactions, and integration means fund will re-enter into the economy as a legal source or legitimate income. Remember, these are very, very important, right? So remember, very, very important for exam point of view. Which are the three stages? First is the first, definitely there will be the question, right? So first is a placement, second is a layering, and third is the integration. Very, very important, right? Okay, next is what? The different stages into the terrorist financing. So in terrorist financing, we have mainly four stages. Raising means raising of the fund, moving of the fund, storing of the fund, and using of the fund. What is raising? So terrorist organization raises the money through the sympathizers by indulging various activity, right? So what they do basically, so terrorists, what they do, they will raise the fund. How? They will raise the fund from different people, right? By the way of donation, by the way of illegal trade, right? By the way of sympathizing the people, right? They will collect the fund, called as the fundraising. Next is the moving, means moving the fund. So fund raised will be moved from one country, right? That is a country of a generation to take place the establishment of the terrorist organization. That means generally say the funds collected from India, they are taking into the Pakistan for doing the terrorist activity, right? That is called as the moving. Next, doing the storing. Storing. What is storing? The funds are then moved and will be stored in a bank account till it is used. So, for example, they are storing fund in say in a bank, Pakistani, in any bank of Pakistan, right? So, best example that is called storing a fund. Next, using, the stored fund will be used to act of terrorism. That means for terrorist attack or for terrorist activity, they will use that stored fund, right? Very simple. So, very simple. What are the stages? Raising of the fund, moving of that fund from one country to another country, storing of that fund into their bank account, and using means use that fund for the terrorist activity, right? So these are the four stages. Very simple. Remember, raising of the fund, moving of the fund, storing of the fund, and using of that fund. Okay. Now one thing you have to understand, what is difference between money laundering and the terrorist financing? Now see, what is the main objective of money laundering? Money laundering is used mainly to hide what is the source of fund, whereas terrorist financing is mainly used to hide what is the use of that fund, right? So money laundering hiding the sources and terrorist financing hiding the uses. Very, very important. Next, what is source of fund in case of money laundering? The illegal fund, that is the black money, that is the source of fund. In case of terrorist financing, the legal money or illegal, both, the black or white, both money can be the source of fund. How the funds are used in money laundering? For a legal avenue. That means the black money is converted into the white money to purchase legal assets. In case of terrorist financing, these are mainly used for the criminal activity like terrorist attack, right? So these are the main difference between money laundering and the terrorist financing. At least you remember most important. Money laundering is used to hide the source of fund and terrorist financing is used to hide the use of fund, right? So money laundering to hide the source and terrorist financing to hide the uses. Okay. Next is the FATF. Now money laundering is happening globally. Now how we can have some control over the money laundering? So for that we are having global financial watchdog. So money laundering, for that money laundering prevention we are having global financial crime watchdog, right? So FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force. It is the Financial Action Task Force. So it is nothing but the crime watchdog globally. So which is of the following? They can ask you which of the following is a global crime watchdog. So answer is FATF, Financial Action Task Force. Now what is FATF? It is a global money laundering and the terrorist financing watchdog. It sets some international standard to prevent the illegal activity and which are harm the society. That means basically to stop the illegal activity that like money laundering, the FATF is working. Okay. Now with respect to the FATF, we are having presently 40 recommendation given by the FATF. So FATF standard 2012 we are following and we are having 40 recommendation from the FATF. Now currently we are having 40 country into the FATF, and how that FATF is only one organization globally working. So for that they are having 9 regional body, that is called as FSRB. 9 F means FATF. So they are having 9 FATF style regional body, right? So only one organization cannot work. So they are having 9 regional body called as the FSRB, 9 FATF style regional body. Now, what is India? India is obviously the member of the FATF. Very, very important reason point of view, right? India is a member. Now, what FATF do? So they will give the list. FATF gives list, right? So they will give list of a country in the two category, gray list or the black list, right? So that list, high risk and no non-cooperative country list is given by the FATF 3 times in a year. Very, very important for exam point of view. What is the frequency of publishing of gray list or black list? It is 3 times in 1 year. That means we can say for every 4 months we are going to announce the gray list and the black list. Okay. Now, which are the country placed into the gray list? So the country which are having some deficiency into their anti-money laundering framework, we can call it as the gray list. CFT means the countering financing terrorist activity, right? So in a gray list, the country will be there which are having some deficiency into their AML framework. So that country will be under increased monitoring. For example, say Iraq or Turkey. Okay. Now, what is the blacklist? So these are the country, they are having very big inequality, that means big drawback in their AML framework, and they are the high risk and non-cooperative jurisdiction. Best example is North Korea, Jim Kyung, right? North Korea, right? So the North Korea is the blacklisted country as per the FATF. Means why is that? What is matter? What it matter basically? So basically, see, gray list and blacklist the country. Why? What is matter? Matter is that why it matters to the country which are placed into the gray list. So see, there will be decrease into the foreign investment. There is a decrease in the trade activity with that country, right? So this is a result of FATF gray list and the watch list. Okay. So for exam point of view, most important I will tell you, gray list means simply they are having some deficiency. Blacklist means they are having significant adequacy, right? They are non-cooperative. So gray list means we will have more monitoring. Okay. Apart from that, most important, the list is published 3 times in 1 year. There is once in a 4 month. FATF is having 40 country. India is its member. It is called the global watchdog. Very, very important. It is called the global financial crime watchdog. Very important. Okay, FATF we have already learned. So most important is the gray list means having some deficiency. Blacklist means these are the country which are non-cooperative, right? Okay. Now, as per the PMLA Act, we have to see the different organization dealing with the money laundering. Now, first is the Financial Intelligence Unit India, FIU India. Very, very important. See, that FIU India is nothing but the Financial Intelligence Unit in India that receive the information from the various financial transactions from the bank and the financial institution. So in our bank, anything wrong transactions happen, like and it is suspicious transactions about the money laundering, then bank will become the reporting entity, and bank will report to the Financial Intelligence Unit of India, FIU India. Okay. Now, second is the ED, Enforcement Director. Very, very common nowadays in newspaper, right? ED. So ED is basically the investigating and the prosecution authority for money laundering crimes in India. So who will deal with the money laundering? Money laundering is being deal with the money laundering deal by the ED, Enforcement Directorate. Next is the adjudicating authority. So what is adjudicating authority? They are the special court, right? They are set up for the adjudication of cases with respect to the money laundering. So they are nothing but the special courts dealing with the money laundering cases. Okay. They are also having power to freeze the asset with respect to the money laundering. So they are the main three institutions or organizations. Most important is FIU India, second is the ED, and third is the AAA, adjudicating authority, like a special court. Now, what are the punishment for money laundering? It is most important for exam point of view. What is the punishment for the money laundering? So, section 45 of VMLA says that whatever offense under the prevention of money laundering, it is a cognizable, means what? It has to be cognized, means what? You cannot ignore it. Police authority cannot ignore it. Cognizable means you have to take some action. You have to file a FIR and you have to investigate. That is meaning of cognizable. Non-bailable means no bail till you are set by the court either guilty or non-guilty. You will be into the jail. That is non-bailable. Section 4 of a PMLA says that imprisonment not less than 3 years up to 7 years along with the fine. Right. So section 4 of PMLA. So what is the punishment for a PMLA for the money laundering under the PMLA? So remember, 3 years to 7 years is the punishment. Very, very important for example. They will ask you what is maximum punishment. Maximum punishment is 7 years. Minimum punishment is 3 years along with the fine. Now, if that case is dealing or connected with the offenses under the Narcotic Drugs and the Psychopathic Substances Act, in that case, the punishment can extend up to the 10 year, right? So they will ask you what is maximum punishment. You mark at 7 year. If they ask you what is maximum punishment, if case is connected with the Narcotic Drugs or the Psychotropic Substance Act, then answer is 10 year, right? So minimum is 3 year, maximum is 7 year. Along with the Psychopathic Substance Act, it is a 10 year. Okay, remember. Now next is the organization setup for the AML. So how we can deal with the AML, right? So every bank has to appoint one designated director. Designated director bank has to appoint, right? And principal officer also bank has to appoint. Okay, for mainly with respect to the KYC policy of the bank. Now see one by one. What is a designated director? So the responsibility of a compliance under the prevention of money laundering deals with the designated director. Very, very important for example. In banks, who is responsible for compliance of the KYC under PMLA? Answer is designated director. Now, responsibility of implementation of KYC policy is also lies with the designated director, and generally MD or a whole-time director will be the designated director appointed by the board of director, right? So who will work as a designated director for the responsibility under the PMLA Act? So answer is MD or a whole-time director will be generally appointed. Now, with respect to the principal officer or a money laundering officer, see, he is a senior officer designated by the bank responsible for monitoring and implementation of the KYC policy, right? So, see, after the designated director, there will be the principal officer, right? He and the reporting transaction as per the regulatory requirement. So, he will report transaction to the FIU India and the RBI also, and he is sharing information with the again FIU India. Now, AML team will be supportingly working under the principal officer for implementation, monitoring, and the supervision of the money laundering activity. Okay. So I repeat, most important for exam point of view part, I repeat, designated director is highly responsible for implementation of KYC policy, and he is a compliance officer or he is having responsibility under the PMLA Act. He is called as the designated director. Generally, MD or a whole-time director called as will be nominated as a designated director. Okay, principal officer is the senior officer who is responsible for implementation of KYC policy, and he is handling reporting and sharing information with the FIU India. Sorry. Okay. Next is the key element in the KYC policy. Now see, very, very important for example, if you just understand. First is the customer acceptance policy. Second is customer identification procedure. Third is risk management, and lastly, monitoring of transaction. Okay. What is the customer acceptance policy? Means when customer approaches you, you have to open the account, right? Then you have to verify the identity of customer, and you have to ensure that all things are correct. If all things are not correct, then you can say we will not open your account. That means whether accept the customer or not to accept, it is up to you. That is called the customer acceptance policy, right? So why we are doing it? So we should not open the account in a Benami person or the customer which are having very high risk category, very high risk and susceptible. Okay. Customer identification procedure. So the process of verifying the customers to identity. How we can verify the identity? Using the OVD. So we are having 6 OVD. We are having 6 OVD, right? 6 OVD. OVD means officially valid documents. They are necessary for opening the account. Also, we have to follow the periodic KYC updation. One thing you remember, PAN card is not OVD. PAN card is the mandatory document. Remember, for example, if you PAN card is not OVD, it is the mandatory document. Now, with respect to the risk management, we have to check the customer's risk profile, right? So, what is the background of customer, which industry he is working, what is geographic location, right? Border country, high risk, right? So, risk management. Then one border state, okay. Monitoring of a transaction. So monitoring of a fraud or the suspicious transaction is also the important key element of KYC policy. Okay. Now how they will ask you question, which of the following is not an element in the KYC policy, right? Customer acceptance policy, okay. Customer identification procedure, okay. Monitoring and transaction risk management, okay. Customer retention policy. So we do not have like element customer retention policy, right? So in that way they can frame the questions. Now, very, very important for example, most important, customers should be classified as per the high risk, medium risk and low risk. See, when any customer approaches, there is a form. We will tick mark. What is the customer risk profile? high risk, medium risk, or the low risk, right? So periodic updation of KYC must be done at least once in 2 years for the high risk customer, 8 years for the medium risk, and 10 years for the low risk customer. This is the most important for exam point of view, right? I repeat, if the customer is into the high risk category, every 2 years you have to update the KYC. For a medium risk, it is 8 years, and for a low risk, it is a 10 years. So remember, right? So how to remember? See, how to remember 2, 8, and 10. So gap in 8 and 9 is 2, right? So in that way, remember 2, 8, and 10. Most important for example, 2 means high risk customer, 8 means medium risk customer, and 10 means low risk customer. This is the periodic KYC updation time period. Now, see, review risk categorization of the customer is carried out every 6 months based on the transaction carried out by the customer. See, when you take account opening form, at that time you will mark it is a medium risk customer, but it is not the fine for the bank. So what the customer do the transaction? So every 6 months, based on the transaction done into the account of a customer. So after 6 months, we will change the category. If customer is doing very less transaction, no risk, then we will move it to the low risk category. If customer is doing very high transaction, some is having suspicious activity, in that case we will move that customer into the high risk category. That means every 6 months we have to check the transaction of customer. So this is not done by at branch level. Generally this is done at the back office level. Okay, so every 6 months we have to check the category of risk category of the customer. We have to change it if necessary, right? So remember the time period, most important, 2 years for the high risk customer KYC updation, 8 years medium risk, and 10 years for the low risk. And a risk category we have to update. We have to update or review. Basically, we have to review for every 6 months based on the transaction in the profile. Okay. Now, again, important thing, record preservation. With respect to the customer ID or the address like OVD, right? So whatever document we are obtaining while opening the account of a customer, right? So we have to preserve that for a 5 year, and that 5 year period is mainly from starts when you end the relationship with the customer or when the account is closed. So from ending the relationship or closing of account, after that 5 years, we have to maintain the account opening form and the KYC. So most important, so account opening form and the KYC must be preserved for a 5 year after the account is closed. Now with respect to the CTS clearing, right? CTS, check truncation system. So physical check, including the image processor under the CTS, we have to preserve it for 10 years. Very, very important, right? So for CTS, we are having 10 years. And with respect to the remittance record means if any customer come into you, right, and he deposit the cash, right, but he is not account holder, still you have to keep the record for a 5 year. Like any customer come into you, he is not having account, and still he want to do the NFT. So NFT in cash without account can be done up to 49,900, means below 50,000 is allowed, right? So such a record you have to preserve for the 5 year, right? So very, very important for account opening form and the KYC, 5 year from closing of it, CTS check 10 year, and remittance record in case of walk-in customer you have to keep for the 5 year. Now, what is the key updation recent guideline? It is more again very, very important for example point of view. See, 3 advance notices must be given before the KYC due to the customer. So bank should send 3 notice before the KYC due, right? And out of that 3, 1 must be sent by the physical letter, that is the speed post or the courier, right? Next, if the customer is still due, if KYC is still due, what bank can do? Bank will, if the deadline is missed, that means if the deadline of customer KYC is missed, in that case, bank again send 3 reminder. It can be either email or the SMS. Out of that, again, 1 must be sent by the letter. Very, very important. See, before due, bank has to send 3 notices. Out of that, 1 must be through the letter. And if deadline is missed, again 3 reminder you have to send, right? And again, out of that, 1 must be through letter. Okay. Now, VCIP equivalent means what? VCIP stands for video based customer identification process. That is VKYC or video KYC, right? So RBI says that the video KYC you have to treat the same like face-to-face onboarding. We have to say, treat it like the same as a face-to-face onboarding or face-to-face account opening of a customer. Means you have to give equal importance, or it should be treated in the same way. Now, with respect to the simplified self-declaration, it is recent guideline by RBI. No document or a resubmission of document is required if there is no changes in or no changes or only address is changed or See, very simple. If there is no any changes in address, mobile number, anything, we simply take declaration from the customer that I do not have any changes in my KYC. So that is called as a CEC self declaration. Many banks are doing it on OTP basis also, right? Now, the extended digital access. See, the RBI says that the digital method you can use for updation of KYC, like Aadhaar OTP you can use, or video customer identification process is also permitted. Now, one rule given by RBI, flexible location. For updating KYC, customer can go any branch of the bank. For example, you are having account in say in Gujarat, and you are now currently in the state say Karnataka. In Karnataka, any branch of a same bank you can go and do the KYC. That is called as any bank, any branch bank of the same bank, right? So you cannot say you go to the home branch for KYC. KYC updation is now as per the RBI guideline. It can be done at any branch. It can be done at any branch of the same bank. Okay, that is all we have learned. Now next is a corresponding banking. What is corresponding banking? In simple way, I will tell you. It is simply the partnership where the small bank or regional bank will use the other globally connected bank like international bank for the international payment and to hold the foreign currency. Right? Simply, I will tell you through example. You will get idea. See here. What is the international or correspondent banking? It is also called the international banking. International banking. Now see, you are here and you are having one account with the bank. I will take the bank example name. Say the South Indian Bank. You are having account, right? Now what you are doing? You are now going to the USA. Now you in USA, you have to access some financial services. Now you will say South Indian Bank is not having presence in the USA. In that case, South Indian Bank will do a tie-up with the say the New York Bank in the USA, right? So the tie between the South Indian Bank of India and the New York Bank in the USA to avail the banking facility of the South Indian Bank customer in the USA, such a is called as the corresponding banking or the international banking. Very easy, right? So this concept, why this is important? Because it allows bank to serve their client like customer globally without opening physical branches abroad, right? So this concept is largely used in international banking transaction like a clearing house, international clearing house, international collection payment, right? These are the services. Okay. Now next is the FATCA, FATCA and the CRS. See when you take account opening form, there will be the one tick mark where the FATCA declaration or the CRS declaration, right? Now FATCA or CRS. So FATCA stands for Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. It is basically the USA Act, right? So what is the purpose of that act? So basically to obtain to comply with the US tax law. See, FATCA is mainly we are taking from customer. It is with respect to the US taxes, US tax law. Now it is mandatory to obtain from all the US citizen who are living outside the USA. So there is basically the law in the USA to avoid the tax evasion in the USA. What they have said? They have said if any citizen of USA is living in India, so you take the FATCA declaration from them, right? So what is the legal base? As per the Indian Income Tax Act, under the inter-government agreement, the signed with the USA. So India and the USA government has signed the agreement so that any USA person is living in India, their tax information must be given to the USA. That is called the inter-government agreement. Okay. Now, as per that agreement only, we are taking the FATCA declaration from the customer. Okay. Now, what is the reporting? So, data will be shared with the CBDT. If the FATCA is applicable, right? If FATCA is applicable, in that case, the data bank will give to the CBDT. Then CBDT will give that data to USA because it is the as per the comply USA law. We are having FATCA declaration. Okay. Foreign account tax compliance. Now, what is CRS? CRS is the common reporting standard. It is a global standard. So what is it basically? So the information with respect to the automatic exchange of information. This is basically the automatic exchange of information agreement. It is developed by the OECD, that is Organization of Economic and Cooperation Development Country. So it is what is legal base? So it is signed. They have signed basically. So the member of OECD, they signed the multilateral competent agreement with a 63 partner in the OECD organization. They signed the agreement. You have to share the information if any citizen is living in your country, right? So India is sharing the information with the CBDT, and CBDT will share with the 63 jurisdiction partner. Reporting will transfer to 63 country, which are the partner or the member country of OECD. OECD means Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. What is difference FATCA and the CRS? FATCA is specifically with respect to the USA, and CRS is applicable mainly with respect to the country, that is 63 country of the OECD countries. Okay, very easy. Okay, now see, no need to remember anything about the FATCA, but remember FATCA is as per the US tax law, and CRS is mainly called as the Common Reporting Standard. It is as per the OECD agreement. Okay. Now, the most important part of this session is the reporting. Definitely, there will be one question in your examination. Now, see, cash transaction report (CTR) must be reported if there is single cash or more than or single cash of 10 lakh rupees or total cash of 10 lakh rupees is deposited, or its equivalent foreign currency is deposited in the bank account. We have to report it, right? Whom the bank will report to the FIU India, and it should be reported monthly basis before 15th of the next month. So this is not generally done by the bank or a branch, it is done by the back office. Now CBWTR, cross border wire transport report. So basically, if there is any inter-country transaction, one country to another country, if it is having amount of 5 lakh or more, either it can be any currency, whether it is receiving fund in India or whether we are sending funds from India, right? So we have to report that in the form of CBWTR, cross border wire transport report to the FIU India. It is again monthly basis, 15th of before 15th of next month. In case of a non-profit organization, we have to send NTR, non-profit organization report, NTR. So if they are receiving any cash or doing any cash payment which is more than 10 lakh, we have to report as a bank to the FIU India, and it should be monthly basis and before the 15th of next month, right? So remember, cash transaction monthly 10 lakh rupees single or aggregate report. CBWTR up to 5 lakh, if you are receiving or sending, you have to report. And NTR, if you are doing cash payment or the receipt which is more than 10 lakh, you have to report. In case of a counterfeit currency note, means fake note, duplicate note, when you detect the fake note in the within 7 days, you have to report to the FIU India. In case of suspicious transaction report, what is suspicious transaction report? Any transaction which you find it is suspicious, right? So irrespective of what is amount, irrespective of whether it is cash, whether it is clearing transaction, irrespective of amount, irrespective of a mode of transaction, whether it is a cash transaction, whether it is NEFT or the clearing, if it is found suspicious, we have to report it within the 7 days, right? So that slide is important, you note it, right? I repeat it. See, CTR, you have to report CTR. The amount is 10 lakh rupees per month, report 15th of the next month. CBWTR, 5 lakh rupees is amount of transfer between two country, again the same deadline. NTR, 10 lakh rupees or more in case of non-profit organization. Counterfeit currency note, you have to report the fake note by the 15th of next month. And in case of STR, the suspicious transaction, you have to report within the 7 days, right? So see, here it is applicable. The counterfeit currency note, it should be sent 15th of the next month, right? So it is not applicable here. So within 7 days, you have to send only with respect to the suspicious transaction report. Okay. So this is all about the reporting, very important for exam point of view. Okay. Now penalty. If the bank failed to report to the FIU India, what is penalty? So reporting bank, who will report? Bank will report. So bank is called as the reporting entity. So monetary penalty will be imposed on bank, say 10,000 rupees minimum and maximum of 1 lakh per violation. So each day of delay in submission of some information or the transmission or transaction or the report, or in rectification of information or the report, is called as the one violation. That means per day it will count one violation, right? So remember, so very high penalty. Minimum penalty is 10,000 and maximum is 1 lakh rupees. So this is the end of this chapter, right? You can download the application Banker Zone JIB CIB. It is available at the Play Store. If you are having any doubt, you can reach us on WhatsApp 9054538247. Thank you.